Welcome to the Next News Network Between the Headlines. I'm Gary Franchi, and it is Friday night, and there's a lot going on today and this evening. Some breaking news we're going to be covering. We got 7 stories lined up for you right now. We're tracking what's going on in Iran. President Trump has rushed back to the White House and canceled all of his events for the day. We're also tracking the latest out of the Ebola World Health Organization emergency alerts that they're sending out. There's now been they're burning down hospitals and triage centers in the Ebola hot zone right now in Africa. We've also got new information. If you're following me on Twitter, you've probably seen the post. Ivanka Trump was targeted for an assassination plot that has now been foiled. Not sure if that's related to President Trump's urgency to come back to the White House, but it appears that we're about to strike Iran. Ceasefire is off the table. Looks like the Iran deal completely fell through. President Trump also not going to Donald Trump Jr.'s wedding that is scheduled for this weekend in the Bahamas. So there's a lot of shakeup at the White House right now, especially in the Trump family. We're also tracking the resignation of Tulsi Gabbard. And getting some information. Rand Paul and other sources are indicating that she was spied upon by the CIA. We already know that the CIA came in and took a whole bunch of classified documents from her, which is bizarre because she's over all of the intelligence agencies. So we're tracking that. Also, Trump's speech in New York today going absolutely ballistic on the leadership in New York, including the mayor and the governor there. So we've got lots of news to break down. And, of course, also we're tracking the latest drop of the UFO files. The second tranche of documents has now officially been released. We've got a bunch of newly declassified UAP videos we're going to take a look at and get some of the reactions that are occurring online. So there's really a lot that's breaking right now, but most importantly, it's what's happening with Iran. Also, the pizza tracker. If you don't know what that is, the pizza tracker, where there's groups that track all of the pizza restaurants in and around the Pentagon, and they track how many orders are coming in. So that is off the charts right now, indicating that there is heightened activity at the Pentagon. So we're tracking all these things in real time, but first we're going to get to what just happened with President Trump's schedule today that just really threw everybody for a loop. We're going to go through the timeline of exactly what happened and where we are right now. So Brian, let's go ahead and hit it. President Trump just scrapped his entire weekend at Bedminster and raced straight back to the White House on Air Force One, Marine One, touchdown, and then the president turned around without warning. Now, this was not on any schedule. At the same moment, reports surfaced that he's weighing decisive action against Iran. Israeli jets are already moving east. Something big is clearly unfolding, and the timing could not be more urgent. America's security depends on a president who refuses to let Iran obtain a nuclear weapon or choke the Strait of Hormuz. When Trump puts national duty ahead of even his own son's wedding, it shows the gravity of the threat. Weakness invites aggression. Strong leadership keeps our troops safe and protects energy routes that affect every American family at the pump. And of course, the deep state and the media will spin every move, but the facts are clear. Trump is restoring deterrence after years of failed appeasement that emboldened Tehran. Now, this moment decides whether Iran continues its terror sponsorship or finally faces real consequences. And while the world is watching the Persian Gulf, America's mineral security is also on the line. We have breaking news on America's critical mineral supply chain. The SAGA metal story just got even stronger. Less than 48 hours ago, SAGA released new information suggesting its radar project may be sitting on one of the largest titanium vanadium sites on the planet. Now, SAGA trades as SAGMF in the U.S. and SAGA in Canada. Now, to understand the scale, compare radar to China's Panzhihua deposit and state link system that's valued in the multi-billion-dollar range. It's also responsible for over 40% of global vanadium. Now check out the in-depth interview with the CEO on this topic I did over the weekend. This matters because defense and energy independence require domestic resources, not reliance on our adversaries. And check the exclusive briefing link below, but it's only for Next News viewers. Now back to the breaking developments in Washington. This is why the minerals angle strengthens our hand. Another signal just flashed. Dominoes into the Pentagon is seeing record orders, and Iran's entire airspace has gone dark. Now these are the quiet indicators that operations are moving fast. So we have this from Bricks News. President Trump is frustrated and may be taking decisive action against Iran. That is according to Israeli media reports. So Trump's frustration is clear, and he just scrapped his entire New Jersey weekend. Trump has canceled his weekend stay at Bedminster as he boards Air Force One for a New York event. 47 will continue working nonstop at the White House. Instead, big moves could be on the horizon. Have a safe flight. So there's the president boarding Air Force One. Heading to D.C. instead of Bedminster. Senator Mike Lee sounding the alarm. Pray for President Trump. Not sure what's happening, but whatever issue brought him back to Washington must be serious. So President Trump also posting about his son's wedding. While I very much wanted to be with my son Don Jr. and the newest member of the Trump family, his soon-to-be wife Bettina, circumstances pertaining to government and my love for the United States of America do not allow me to do so. I feel it is important for me to remain in Washington, D.C. at the White House during this important period of time. Congratulations to Don and Bettina, President Donald J. Trump. So Mike Lee, though, calling for prayers over whatever just pulled Trump back. And here's the scene on the ground. Instead of following the original schedule, and this threw everybody for a loop today, the president's schedule usually is posted the night before the press gets their marching orders and waits for something to happen. We follow the schedule, and then all of a sudden the schedule completely changes. It's not unusual, but it happens. And but this is even more pressing given the circumstances with Iran and the deals that are happening. So instead of following the original schedule, chopper to Trump National in Bedminster, Trump has just stepped off Marine One, jumped back on Air Force One en route to D.C. Not part of the plan, which is causing a ton of speculation as to why. As usual, 47 also showed his support for our Marines, presenting one a challenge coin right there. So Trump is ditching the chopper, jumping on Air Force One. And again, we look at the post that he did make to Truth Social regarding his son, Don Jr. And he did mention this actually yesterday in the Oval Office. A reporter did ask if he was going to the wedding. And of course, President Trump, he did say that he had important things to address. We're going to get that audio for you in just a minute here. Let me just get that signal connected. But he did indicate at the White House that he did have big things happening, of course, with Iran and the United States, as we've been tracking repeatedly here. There's been deals going back and forth, negotiations back and forth. President Trump has not been happy with what Tehran has been putting on his desk as far as reading the first sentence and throwing these negotiations away. So President Trump did indicate to reporters that he was going to be staying behind. This was yesterday, so it's really not a shocker, but now we know exactly what was being said. Let's see if we can
just a small little private affair. And
attending your son's wedding this weekend, by the way?
He'd like me to go, but it's going to be just a small little private affair, and I'm going to try and make it. I'm in the midst. I said, you know, this is not good timing for me. I have a thing called Iran and other things. That's one I can't win on. If I do attend, I get killed. If I don't attend, I get killed. By the fake news, of course, I'm talking about. No.
So President Trump, he already knew what was simmering, and now it's official. He's not going because of what's going on in Iran. And, of course, Ilhan Omar quickly jumping on that, giving Trump shit for not publicly committing to Don Jr.'s wedding in a foreign country. Ilhan Omar called him the worst parent in the world, but of course he is also the president of the free world, and his first allegiance, of course, is to keep the United States safe, and he did want to be with his son, but he is in the midst of a freaking war, Ilhan.
Do you think he should stay or he should go to the wedding? I mean, I would think any parent would want to be there for their child's important day, and getting married is a pretty important day.
Okay. Even if there's a lot of other stuff going on, like a war and things like that. I mean,
Well, he finds time to golf when there are important things that are happening, or walk around talking about the ballroom. So he certainly, if he really cared about his son and cared about being a family man, he would try to make time to go to his son's wedding.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course, the big question is, did you attend the wedding of your brother? Yeah, family is important, isn't it, Ilhan? But regardless of that fact, Democrats are attacking Trump over the wedding. Donald Trump Jr. and Bettina Anderson officially married ahead of the Bahamas wedding. So apparently they were already married. Now this is just the formal ceremony. So critics are piling on. News is reporting that fresh strikes are in the works. Axios reporting Trump is considering launching new strikes. Trump's messaging all week has been hinting it. Trump is seemingly telegraphing he is about to strike, which is normally not his modus operandi. Misdirection may be afoot. We shall see. He's gearing up for something that is for sure. This is the post from Axios. Trump convened a meeting with the senior national security team on the war with Iran this morning, seriously considering launching new strikes against Iran, barring a last-minute breakthrough in negotiations, sources say. So it appears that those negotiations have collapsed. Even Gaze for Trump coming out and saying, we're definitely going to bomb Iran. So speculation is running online. This is the video of President Trump racing back to the White House after canceling his weekend plans in New Jersey. Also canceled his Memorial Day plans. Apparently they're on standby. So something is big. CBS reporting intelligence team canceled their own Memorial Day plans, and the pizza orders in the Pentagon just spiked. Domino's Pizza, 1.4 miles from the Pentagon, experiencing a high spike in activity, reaching 167%. Pizzato Pizza, 2.2 miles, also a spike at 139%. Dokkan level 2 as of Friday evening with markets closed. So the Pentagon pizza activity climbing fast, which usually signals something big for a major operation. And also this update, we have this. Domino's is Dokkan level 1. Domino's Pizza is now at 227%. And Pizzato Pizza reporting high traffic at 167. So Domino's Pizza traffic is exceeding what was previously posted. So another extreme spike in Pentagon area deliveries. Meanwhile, Iran's airspace is clearing out. You can see, look at the air traffic. It is now closed. You can see it all being routed around these strike zones. Iranian airspace emptying fast. Fighter jets now reported moving east out of Israel. Israeli fighter jets reported over southern Syria heading east as Trump arrives at the White House, and the administration declares a press lid. So the lid is the last detail. It means Trump will not speak to any member of the press for the rest of the evening, as the fighter jets are now reported above Erbil in northern Iraq. That's the corridor. Northern Iraqi airspace is exactly where Israeli Air Force launched standoff missiles against Iran in the previous 2 rounds of fighting. Jets over Erbil fit that established method. So Israeli jets heading east currently, and Trump has ordered a lid. And now we have Iran's armed forces have entered the highest state of alert. Tehran is reacting to the same signals everyone else is tracking. So Iran's forces and GPS jamming is now blanketing the entire Persian Gulf. GPS jamming now blanketing the Persian Gulf. Latest GPS jam map shows high interference concentrated in 4 clusters: the Strait of Hormuz and Musan Dam Peninsula across the northern UAE and Oman. The southern Gulf coast is along the UAE and towards Qatar. The Central Gulf over Bahrain and Saudi Arabia, Eastern Coast, Northern Gulf over Kuwait City up to the Iraqi border. This is every major Gulf state hosting U.S. forces jammed at once. Bahrain hosts the U.S. Fifth Fleet, Qatar hosts the Al Udeid Air Base, and UAE, Kuwait, and Saudi all host American assets. GPS jamming on this scale is the electronic signature of a major operation in motion, combined with the dark tankers, the eastbound Israeli jets, and Iran's highest alert. The whole theater is now active. So Iran's armed forces are entering their highest state of alert. Tehran reacting to the same signals. The jamming covers every major Gulf state hosting U.S. forces. Trump's motorcade officially rolling back into the White House grounds. That is the scene. That is actually direct, that is a camera shot angle right from the Secret Service gate entry point where the press enters. That's where I normally enter. Not exactly that door, but a door just to, well, it would be to the left of that door. So that's facing the north lawn, President Trump. And this is right there at the main entrance, which I've never seen the president arrive through that entrance before. Normally he touches down via Marine One, but he came in through the motorcade and entered the White House through the front door. So the aerial picture shifting though in real time. KC-130R straddle tankers turning their transponders back on, now visible over central Israel. The CK-46 Pegasus over southern Iraq turned its transponder off, going dark, exactly where the strike package would stage before crossing into Iranian airspace. Observers report higher than average radar and GPS jamming across the UAE and the Gulf of Oman. The aircraft going dark is one of the closest to Iran. The one over Israel is back to normal visibility. So, U.S. tankers turning off transponders heading east, and now we have initial reports of fighter jets over Baghdad. Mario Nafal reports initial reports of fighter jets heard above Baghdad, capital of Iraq. Iraqi airspace corridor between Israel and Iran. Jets over Baghdad fit the pattern of an eastward strike package moving towards Iranian territory. Squadron of Israeli jets reportedly flying over the West Bank, heading east in the direction of Iran. The squadron movement stacks directly on top of everything else in motion. U.S. tankers airborne, transponders off, heading to the Gulf. Western Iran airspace closed. GPS jamming over the UAE. Heavy air traffic over Eilat. So this is all happening right now in real time as President Trump cancels all of his events, including his going to his own son's wedding with respect to handle what appears to be a complete breakdown in negotiations with Iran. As we've been reporting all week, President Trump has been frustrated with the outcome of these negotiations, and he said that we are locked and loaded. If you guys don't come to the table with a deal, we are going to go in and we're going to finish the game, and we're going to get the nuclear dust. We're going to shut it down. We're going to make sure that you have no opportunity to negotiate moving forward. Just several weeks back, President Trump also declaring that bridges and power plant day would occur. That never happened, so it could be possible that that very same action that was declared weeks and weeks ago is now back on the table. So we might see some big shock and awe scenarios breaking just overnight. So please, we'll keep you posted as anything happens. But Israeli jets are now reported over Baghdad, the West Bank heading east. GPS jamming blankets the entire Persian Gulf. Iran forces on the highest alert. Tanker aircraft gone dark near strike corridors. Trump returning to the Situation Room ready. So the administration's made clear Iran will not keep nuclear capability. Every indicator points to action that could reshape the region in America's favor. So President Trump, he is once again putting America first by staying in Washington and keeping every option on the table. And this is the leadership that restores strength and protects our future. So share this video right now. This is breaking news. Comment with your thoughts and subscribe for real-time updates. Now my question is, do you believe Trump should strike Iran if needed? Do you think that this is the end game? Do you think this is going to be completely wrapped up? The Iran war will be buttoned up by tomorrow morning? Let me know what your thoughts are, and if you haven't done so, make sure you text raw feed. This is one of those moments where you need to be on the list. Text the words raw feed to 844-840-4963. This is how you bypass the algorithm. You get direct updates from me right to your phone when it matters most, like now. And check out the Next News merch shelf if you want to support our work here. America 250 is on the horizon. It's right below the video. Our strength comes from staying informed, standing together behind decisive action that keeps America safe and free. And we'll see you at the next report. Okay, guys, so we got some big breaking news that's happening right now, and we got some more news. We need to really just jump right into it. I hope everyone's here. Hope you guys are geared up for a beautiful Memorial Day weekend. It's not going to be a big Memorial Day weekend. There's going to be a lot of memorials in Iran, I'll tell you that, after what I think is about to happen. So we're going to continue to track this breaking news as it occurs, see if there's anything else that has happened since this last few minutes here. Just checking some of the feeds. I think there is going to be some serious... Laura Loomer, 2 minutes ago, part of me wants to go to sleep, but then I feel like if I sleep, I will miss the Iranian regime getting glassed for threatening to assassinate Ivanka Trump. Tough decisions. Yeah, I think that is... that is what a lot of people are saying. And that's what our next story is revolving around, this assassination attempt on Ivanka Trump. We have got the details on that. Okay, Brian, I'm ready to rock and roll. A liberal TikToker just posted a video openly calling for President Trump's assassination while doxing his supporters to put targets on their backs. At the very same time, an IRGC-linked Iraqi operative trained by Iran just got busted with detailed maps of Ivanka Trump's home, her Florida home, vowing to burn the Trump house down in revenge for Soleimani. Now, a lot of people are speculating online that the action we're seeing right now in Iran is a direct relation to the assassination plot against Ivanka Trump. It's unclear if the two events are connected, but we can tell you that as you're watching this right now, that the fighter jets and the tankers and everything is now lighting up in the Middle East, and it all points to escalation. But with respect to what just happened with Ivanka Trump, these are foreign terror networks. These are domestic extremists now all converging on the first family with one goal in mind. And that goal is the assassination of the first family. The Trump hatred has gone so far, but of course we are engaged in a foreign war with Iran, and those individuals, they have taken a vow to avenge Soleimani. So this matters because the safety of the president and his family is the safety of the republic itself. When Iran-backed killers obtain secret house plans, they post them online, while left-wing voices openly cheer assassination on social media. The line between political disagreement and actual violence has been crossed. America's watching this. Need to understand what the stakes are, because our leaders cannot govern if they must constantly look over their shoulder for foreign hit squads and domestic mobs. The Trump administration's strength against Iran has clearly rattled the regime, but it also means the threat level is rising, and ignoring these signs puts every freedom-loving citizen at risk because weakness invites more attacks. The rule of law must hold the line. And while these national security threats unfold, America's critical mineral supply chain faces its own urgent battles. We got some breaking news on America's critical mineral supply chain front. The SAGA metal story we've been talking about just got even stronger. Less than 48 hours ago, SAGA just released new information suggesting that its radar project, you've heard us talk about this, may be sitting on one of the largest titanium vanadium systems on the entire planet. Now, SAGA trades as SAGMF in the US and SAGA in Canada. Now, to understand the scale, you have to compare the radar project to Chinese Panzinhua deposit. It's a state-linked system that's valued in the multi-billion-dollar range. It's responsible for over 40% of the global vanadium. Now, check out the in-depth interview with the CEO I did on this topic over the weekend to see why this discovery strengthens U.S. independence from foreign supply chains. Also, check the exclusive briefing. It's linked below, but it's only for Next News viewers. That resource edge is exactly the kind of America First advantage that we need at this moment. So the danger doesn't stop, though, at foreign plots or online rants. President Trump himself responded with a bold move that has everybody talking. He even posted a meme today of himself throwing Stephen Colbert in a dumpster, mock choking the late night host, sending his critics into a meltdown, while supporters, of course, are cheering the perfect troll. So let's get right into this. We posted, this is Ivanka Trump targeted in chilling assassination plot by IRGC-linked terrorists seeking revenge for Soleimani killing. This is huge news. New York Post has revealed that the first daughter of Ivanka Trump was a specific target of a foiled assassination plot orchestrated by Mohammed Bakr Saad Dawood al-Sadi. Man, that's a mouthful. A 32-year-old Iraqi national trained by Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC. Al-Sadi, who viewed slain IRGC commander Soleimani, as a father figure, allegedly pledged to kill Ivanka as payback for the 2020 U.S. drone strike that took out his mentor, vowing to burn down the house of Trump the way he burned down our house. Sources told the Post that the high-ranking operative in the Iraq-Iran terror network with ties to Kataib Hezbollah obtained detailed plans of Ivanka and Jared Kushner's $24 million home in the exclusive Indian Creek enclave. He even posted a map of the property on X alongside an Arabic language threat, declaring neither your palaces nor the Secret Service will protect you. I'm going to show you that in a moment. We are currently in the stages, he writes, of surveillance and analysis. Our revenge is only a matter of time now. He faces U.S. charges for directing or taking responsibility for 18 terror attacks and attempted attacks across Europe and North America, including the firebombing of the Bank of New York Mellon in Amsterdam, the stabbing of 2 Jewish victims in London, a shooting at the U.S. consulate in Toronto, and the bombing of a synagogue in Belgium, and the arson of a temple in Rotterdam. He reportedly used a religious travel agency as cover to move freely and coordinate with terror cells worldwide while maintaining a very public social media presence full of photos posting with weapons and honoring his Iranian military figures. He was arrested in Turkey on May 15th. So that puts us about a week ago, arrested in Turkey while in transit, and now he's been extradited to the United States. He's currently being held in solitary confinement at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. The White House has not yet commented. Now, this is the post that he made. Now, I actually had this translated. It was originally posted in Arabic, but this is the exact translation from Arabic, and he was quoting Khomeini, who said, "Whoever ordered and carried out the assassination of the martyr Soleimani must pay the price, and this revenge will certainly come at any available opportunity. I say to the Americans, look at this picture and know that your palaces and the Secret Service will not protect you. We are in the stage of monitoring and analysis. I told you our revenge is only a matter of time." And of course, he posts a direct pinpoint to Ivanka Trump's property on his post. And apparently he had detailed maps of the home. He's now in solitary confinement, so that is good. And Ivanka Trump is safe and secure, but what is about to happen in Iran is still unclear. We do know that there is action right now over the skies of Iran. Not sure if it's, again, linked to what's going on or connected to this. If this is President Trump saying, "Oh, you want to go after my daughter? Well, guess what? We're just gonna finish the game." That's what a lot of people are saying online. I'm not going to connect that dot necessarily. I do believe this is because of failed negotiations over the past week, but you got to keep in mind as well that if this person was taken into custody on the 15th. President Trump clearly would have known about this, and this would have been in the back of his mind. But the fact that he's been telegraphing all week that if you guys don't come to the table with a deal that I can agree with, we can all have peace, then we're just going to go ahead and we're going to finish the game. We're going to take the nuclear dust ourselves. So again, I'm not sure if this is connected, but President Trump has been telegraphing that message all week. So the foreign terror plot against Ivanka Trump has been foiled, thank God. But now a liberal TikToker openly calling for Trump's assassination and doxing his supporters. Now, I'm going to caution you here. This is one of those moments where we have these just absolutely deranged individuals from the left. I don't know why they do this. Posting these types of things to social media is only going to get you a visit from the Secret Service and the FBI. And it's not going to be a friendly knock on the door. Okay? They're going to come in, guns blazing, they're going to drag your ass out. So I don't know why these people post these things. It's really just for social media. It's like a new deranged form of virtue signaling that, you're going to increase your social media clout by declaring you're going to assassinate President Trump? Is that how you're going to do this? Is that how you're going to gain more likes and more clicks and more shares? It's ridiculous. But it's the usual suspect. It's always in the eyes. Apparently, the person's name is Third 30 Living, calling for Donald Trump to be murdered. And doesn't stop there, then takes makes videos doxing Trump supporters to get them killed as well. She starts doxing them. And of course, this is very illegal, against the law. States like California, Florida, and more have doxing laws. You can even spend a year in prison, upgraded to as much as 5 years if there are credible threats. So this woman is likely going to be arrested soon. But look at the face. And it's really sad that a woman, you know, of her age is resorting to this, and she's going to spend the rest of her life in prison.
So here's a valid question. Can we just have this motherfucker assassinated and get it over with already? Hey, I just came up with an idea for a fun pastime. Let's dox all of these 20-something, 2028 Trump supporters. And I've got the first one. Her name is Sierra Frost. XO. She's a little blonde twig that likes to post shit on every platform, including ads. And guess what? She was one of the people photographing the underage fashion shoot over the boat show weekend at Mar-a-Lago. What a slag!
Yeah, so look at the eyes here. Clearly deranged, Trump derangement syndrome has just taken root in this poor woman. So all you can do is pray for her and pray for deliverance, that you know, she can see the light of day someday. But apparently, I think she's going to be seeing the inside of a cell very soon. So after the TikToker pushes assassination and doxing of Trump supporter, Trump delivers his own message on the final broadcast of Stephen Colbert. And just as all of this is happening, as President Trump rushes back to the White House today, a rare post on X, he goes ahead and makes this post. Now, you know, this is you know, Stephen Colbert is no longer going to be hosting the show. The show's been canceled. Thank God. Stephen Colbert is just another TDS infected late night loser. President Trump celebrating that fact in the middle of all of this. President Trump canceling all of his events, dealing with assassination attempts on his daughter. We have this war in Iran that is erupting, and President Trump has the time to post this troll of Stephen Colbert.
Back to our final broadcast, ladies and gentlemen.
And then, of course, he goes into the Trump dance. So, President Trump having a little fun amidst all of the chaos. So we're going to keep tracking all of these stories, but what this really means for America is that the fight against Iran and its proxies is now personal and direct. The Soleimani strike still haunts the regime and its terror networks, proving Trump's decisive action still pays dividends and exposes their weaknesses, and domestic calls for violence only highlight how desperate the opposition has become. Trump remains undeterred, using humor and strength to dominate the narrative while keeping America secure. So the bottom line is clear. President Trump is continuing to deliver wins by confronting threats head-on while his enemies expose their true colors. So share this report with everybody so that they can know the truth as well. And we need to spread this far and wide. Drop a yes or no in the comments right now. Do you believe these threats show Iran is desperate? And this is a moment right now where you need to text the words raw feed. Join the thousands of patriots who've already done so. Text the words raw feed to 844-840-4963. That's how you bypass the algorithm suppression of the Next News Network. Get direct messages from me to your phone in the most urgent of moments. Check out the Next News merch shelf below this video. Say a prayer for Ivanka and the Trump family, especially as the threats continue to escalate, because together we're going to stay vigilant and we're going to keep America strong. Okay. All right. Lots of news happening right now, folks. So I want to see who's here. We've got Bill's Rules, Potted Kenny. Everyone is here tonight. Thank you for joining us. I believe I did see a super chat come in. Let me just make sure I acknowledge that. What's up, Chris? Thank you for that. $25. Appreciate that. Hi, Gary N3 Family MAGA. Welcome, Chris. Thank you for your support. We always appreciate the super chats when they come in. Let me just double check some of these things. We got to get this breaking news out now. Trump is rushing back. So we're going to get this published. Hopefully it's ready to rock. I believe it is. What time is it right now? 10:12. We're going to get this thing out right now. Let's see. We'll push it out at 10 minutes from now. So we're going to drop this first report out at 10:22. We'll get that published, and there we go. Okay, so that's going to hit the feeds in just a minute. And now the Ivanka story, we're going to drop that probably at 22. Probably just, I'm going to schedule that one out for like 11ish, I think. That's a really big story right now. Everyone's talking about it. So if you're following me on X, then you'll know exactly when these things drop. You'll be able to watch these before they hit YouTube. Okay, so let's see here. We're going to drop this one at, I think if that's 10:20, we'll do 11 o'clock. We'll get that set for 11. What are we doing now? We're going into the UFO disclosure, which was another big, crazy story today. The Department of War dropping their second release. So there's a lot to break down in this next report, so just stick with me. And we've got to, once we're done with that, we're going to go and we'll discuss what's the latest on the Ebola. We got some wild footage out of the Democratic Republic of Congo. I mean, gunshots, they're burning down the Ebola centers where people are being treated. It's absolutely insane. We have footage of that, as well as the latest alarms. President Trump, though, holding the line here, as another U.S. doctor has been transported to, I believe, Czechoslovakia, I think is where they were sent to. Is Czechoslovakia even a place now? Still, I don't know. All those nations over there, they keep changing. Okay, so let's go to the UFO. Oh, UFO. And there we go. The White House just dropped the second release of unidentified anomalous phenomena files straight from the official government portal. The first drop hit 1 billion hits worldwide. Now, this is not just more blurry cell phone clips or anonymous leaks. Directly from the administration with military-grade footage now available for the public to examine. People are already pointing to longer color videos that are tough to write off as simple glitches. There's one clip showing an object shifting shapes before vanishing at high speed. The question everybody's asking tonight is what the government actually knows and why the releases keep coming faster. And when are we going to see the pictures of the little green men? That's what we want to see. Okay, but regardless, this matters for every American because national security and public trust, it's all on the line. When the White House itself posts these encounters instead of hiding them, it changes how citizens view their own defense apparatus. Our pilots, our service members, they have reported these objects for years, and now the footage backs it all up. The abilities that are described in classified briefings include performance no known aircraft can match. Now that raises real questions about what is operating in our skies and whether our current systems are enough to protect the homeland. Citizens deserve straight answers without the old secrecy games that eroded confidence for decades. Now, while our defense forces, while they're tracking these unknown objects in the skies, the push for American resource independence is just as critical to national security. This breaking news on America's critical mineral supply chain. SAGA metal story, it just got a lot stronger. We've been talking about SAGA here at Next News for weeks. Just 48 hours ago, SAGA, they released some new information suggesting that the radar project you've heard us talk about may actually be sitting on one of the largest, now listen to me, the largest titanium vanadium systems on the planet. Now, write this down. SAGA trades as SAGMF in the U.S., SAGA in Canada. Now, to understand the scale of what we're talking about, you need to compare the radar project to China's Panxinhua deposit. Now, that is a state-linked system that's valued in the multi-billion-dollar range. What they found is bigger. Now, the Chinese area is responsible for over 40% of global vanadium supply. Now, you need to check out the in-depth interview with the CEO I did on this topic just over the weekend. It's on the channel. And also check the exclusive briefing that's linked below. But it's only for Next News viewers. These minerals, they strengthen our manufacturing edge exactly when America needs it most. So after that break in the color footage, The latest files is already separating itself from the older thermal clips. Observers note that the extended duration, the clear movement patterns that make casual debunking much harder. One of the first reaction called it very cool stuff, while predicting the usual trash bag excuses will fail against the altitude and speed data that you're about to see. Now, the public no longer waiting on fringe forums for answers. So we're getting it right here from war.gov/UFO. This official release from the White House, second release of unidentified anomalous phenomena files, has now gone live. So the White House making it official. The Department of War also posting quite a lengthy article here. The Department of War published a second release of unidentified anomalous phenomena. Today, the Department of War is publishing the second release of declassified historical unidentified anomalous phenomena UAP files as part of the Presidential Unsealing and Reporting System for UAP Encounters, also known as PURSUE. The collection continues to be housed on war.gov/UFO, and additional files will be released on a rolling basis. Since the site's launch on May 8th, it has received over 1 billion hits worldwide, highlighting the unprecedented level of interest in both this topic and the Trump administration's historic transparency effort. The Department of War and our agency partners are actively working on the third release of the UAP files, which will be announced in the near future. So this is the official second announcement, the second release, second tranche of records under PURSUE. First was released on May 8th. Scroll down to view the second tranche release, May 22nd, 2026. So this is the official post from the president regarding these matters, but you can see this is just a small sampling of some of the information that has been posted. Everyone's sifting through it all right now. We've already collected some of these videos for you, and you can see some of this stuff heavily redacted, clearly blocking out sensitive HUD display, likely coordinates and sensitive information. But we're going to show you some of these videos as they have been released. Continuing on here. Of course, though, the memes, they are already starting to flood. Level up. Make aliens great again. Level up, aliens. So supporters reacting to the release in real time. Now, take a look at this. Some of the footage. Pentagon releases a video of a potential UFO. I'm going to bring it up nice and big for you here so we can all watch. This is only 11 seconds, but you can see it's really difficult to really ascertain what exactly we're looking at. But look at that. It's just like, boom, it's gone. 11 seconds in, and it's just, now let's go again. We'll take a one more look at this because it is being tracked, easily tracked by this camera, this military-grade camera, and boom, it just moves out of the crosshairs and just, doom, just darts out. That was in 2021, apparently. So the Pentagon video showing an object the military still cannot explain. And not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens, right? Of course. Let's go. So we've got some more footage here. This is a spherical UAP over AFG in and out of clouds. Now, what could this possibly be? Okay, let's watch. I'll bring it up full screen. Moving in and out of clouds. Sharpened, zoomed, and tracked. Sharpened, zoomed, tracked. Moving in and out of the clouds. Now, do balloons do that? Are balloons capable of doing that? Moving in that speed? I don't think that's a balloon, guys. So here's the original video. Let's take a look. Okay, you see at the top of your screen there, moving in and out of the clouds. Now it still is not clear. You can see the redactions on the screen. We don't know what type of aircraft was tracking this specific action. But this came from the acting press secretary, Joel Valdez. He's the one who posted that. Maybe we can get some more information if we just let's just drill into that. This is the background on that specific March 6th. March 6th, spherical UAP over AFG in and out of clouds, November 23, 2020. On March 6, 2026, 8 members of the U.S. House of Representatives requested access to 51 potential UAP-related records allegedly held by the Department of War and the Intelligence Community. The All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, AARO, identified a collection of responsive materials held on a classified network. Many of the materials lack a substantiated chain of custody. AARO assesses that this video, whose uploader defined title is Spherical UAP over AFG in and out of clouds 23 November 2020, likely derived from an infrared sensor aboard a U.S. military platform operating in the United States Central Command Area of Responsibility in November of 2020. The user uploaded this video to the classified network in June of 2024. 47 seconds. The media was digitally altered prior to its upload to a classified network and is presented as received. The black screen appears, featuring the phrase zoomed in. An area of contrast becomes visible near the top left corner of the screen. So, redactions have been made to protect the identity of eyewitnesses, the location of government facilities, or potentially sensitive information about military sites not related to UAP. No redactions have been made to any files released under President Trump's directive concerning information about the nature or existence of any encounter reported as a UAP or related phenomena. So that is just one of the many videos that are now circulating. This one is one of the first videos, Sam Adams notes, one of the first videos I've seen that appears to be in color as opposed to using thermal. Pro 60 also will be quite hard to debunk. Very long video, already predicted it's going to be called a trash bag, despite its size, altitude, and speed. Very cool stuff. So we're going to zoom in on this one for you. We'll go full screen so you guys can see the clarity of this HD video. Now this one is rather long. This is about 4 minutes. And let's see. This is another one of the situations where we have the redacted overlays to protect whatever entity is tracking this. There it is. Okay, so you see that little black dot. Now, there it is again. Now, as the poster stated, this, could be debunked as a trash bag flying through the air, but I find that kind of hard to grasp. A large balloon perhaps, but still it's moving in a very specific trajectory, not in anything that would appear to be like a random floating through some kind of an airstream, air current situation. So this video goes on for roughly about 4 minutes. It's now it's at the bottom corner of the screen. It's just out of frame. I think it's going to pop back up in a second. The camera, there it is. Okay, now it's back in frame. You can see it. Now it's out of frame again. So they're doing their best to track this. Now it's right there in the middle of the crosshairs. Zooming in now, we can see it's really difficult to determine what exactly that is. And now it looks like it's gone. Wait, no, there it is again. It's bizarre. You know what? It looks like it. I can't tell if it's just pixelation or what, but it appears almost. Okay, I don't know. The first instinct that I almost had like a stingray kind of feel, like a stingray flying, almost bizarre. So that is the video that's going to be tough to debunk. The White House second release adds to the growing public archive We can wait until June 12th for the more comprehensive material on the phenomena. So this is a breakdown of the May 22 UAP file drop. We got a 2025 helicopter near miss, the UAP over Soviet weapons test range, Pantex incident report, multiple sensor ranges over water, New Mexico 1948 to 1950 file cluster, early Cold War documents, tie UAP related concern to New Mexico security activity. Sandra Link material adds historical depth to the story, important mainly because it extends the pattern far back in time. That goes back to 1948. I'm reading at the bottom there. 2025 helicopter near miss, right at the top of your screen. Senior U.S. intelligence officer recounting multiple close UAP encounters near a test range. 2025. Ground team reported super hot object on flare. Object split into two. Changed directions, rose from the ground, and approached the helicopter. Reportedly came within about 10 feet before accelerating out of sight. Fighter jets were launched. Object could not be matched. So here's some of the visuals from these files. We could look at these infographics all day long. I know you guys want to see the video. Let's take a look here real quick. This is the Rapid Response 47 posting Good Morning America covering this, which is bizarre. So let's take a look. Did we lose our audio? No, we didn't.
Of unidentified flying objects.
Start that over again.
We are back now with an ABC News exclusive. The Pentagon releasing dozens of new videos of unidentified flying objects, incidents that the government still cannot explain, plus an account of a mysterious sighting near a sensitive U.S. military facility last year. Jay O'Brien is in Washington with the latest. Jay, good morning.
Whit, good morning to you. Much of what you're about to see has never been public before. The Pentagon now releasing another batch of its so-called UFO files after they were declassified by President Trump. And this morning, we got an exclusive first look.
This morning, the GMA exclusive, more than 50 videos and other documents detailing strange objects in the sky, many of which the military can't explain, released in the second batch of the Pentagon's so-called UFO files. Inside never-before-seen video like this from 2024, the Coast Guard picking up this object as it flew near a plane over the southeastern U.S., and this taken by the U.S. military over Syria in 2021, following an unidentified object before it suddenly speeds off. The service member who submitted the video labeling it instant acceleration. Others seen flying in apparent formation. All part of over 200 files released so far detailing what the military officially calls unidentified anomalous phenomena, or UAP, better known as UFOs, long an object of public fascination.
They want to find out about the UFOs and anything having to do with UFO or related material.
The files made public on order of President Trump, who earlier this month touted complete and maximum transparency, leaving it up to the public to, quote, decide for themselves what the hell is going on. In the newly released records, this video from 2020, taken in an undisclosed area under U.S. Central Command, appearing to show a sphere flying over a population center, the pilot getting a closer look before it eventually flew higher off into the sky. And this account from a senior U.S. intelligence officer just last year, describing seeing two large orbs flare up alongside their helicopter while on a mission, saying they were orange with a white or yellow center and emitted light in all directions. Fighter jets then scrambled to identify the objects, but couldn't, the officer recounts, then writing, the same orbs we had encountered were now chasing the fighters. We were virtually speechless after these observations.
After multiple investigations, the government has found no evidence any of these incidents are of an extraterrestrial nature, but military officials admit many remain unresolved and cannot be explained. And inside these files, there were some videos that certainly were not UFOs, like one of the government shooting down what was believed to be a balloon over Lake Huron in 2023. But a lot to go through here, guys.
All right. I'm sure that explains it. Everyone's convinced now. Thank you, Jay. Appreciate it.
So that is Good Morning America, laughing it off. So the Pentagon footage there. Here's more. This is the UAP file release for UAP formation, Iran, 26th of August, 2022, over water, call sign is likely derived from an infrared sensor aboard a U.S. military platform operating within the U.S. Central Command area of responsibility in 2022. So this is for UAP information. Now it's really, I mean, over water, so they're above the surface of the water. It's really, this is Iran, 26th of August, 2022. So the second release has been dropped. And someone says, what is this? It was flying around being tracked and stopped. Looks like it starts changing shape and then zips off. This is bananas. Here's another video that has been released. This is very interesting. This one is all about a minute long. And you can see the ground. I believe that's the ground tracking below as the tracking camera continues to track the item, the object. And very strange to try to even understand what it is exactly. And it appears to have some sort of a field around it, perhaps. I'm not sure if that's the infrared picking up signatures as it just darts off. Look at that, just completely just flies away. Tim Burchett talks about a briefing he had 2 weeks ago, says we are not alone. Sitting U.S. Congressman confirming after direct access to the evidence.
Another thing you see is in Congress is these guys and gals, the critics, and you heard them when you were there, they are critical of us, yet they won't go in the skiff and pull back the veil and look at some of the things that we've looked at that we're not allowed to discuss. And I think that would answer a lot of the answers. I had a member of leadership take me in a couple of weeks ago, me and another member, and viewed some things that would have, I think, would have settled the answer that we're not alone, that something else is out there, because the abilities of these things, whether it's just indescribable of what they're able to do. And now we have it literally on footage of that. So I'm hoping in the future that some of those things get released.
So Tim Burchett clearly frustrated because of the things he's seen in these skiffs still not being released publicly. As we know, there is a third drop that is pending. Here's another U.S. Air Force 16 smoking a UFO. Now, that was referenced in the Good Morning America clip we just watched. They said it was a balloon over Lake Huron. However, let's take a look, and you be the judge here. So it appears to have an appendage of sorts. Could be a balloon. But it's still apparently part of the second tranche of files that the public now has access to at war.gov/UFO. You can go there and see it for yourself. So the real shift comes from sitting members of Congress who have seen the evidence firsthand in secure facilities. You just saw Tim Burchett describing the abilities of these objects as indescribable. After reviewing classified video just 2 weeks ago, he stated clearly that we are not alone. Something else is out there. And when leadership confirms this after direct access, the old dismissals, they all lose power. And the White House is posting these files. It accelerates the conversation from whether they exist to what comes next for the country. So the era of slow walking the truth is ending. The White House is now part of the disclosure process, and that alone marks a major victory for transparency under this administration. America First means facing reality head-on instead of letting the old guard keep secrets that affect every citizen. So what do you think these objects are? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know if you believe that full disclosure serves the country. And if you haven't done so yet, join the thousands of patriots who already have. They've texted the words raw feed to 844-840-4963. They're bypassing the algorithm and getting direct updates straight from me to their phone. I want you to be part of that group of patriots. So, and if you haven't done so, check out the Next News merch shop below this video. Truth belongs to the people who build this nation, and we're going to keep pressing until every American sees it clear. Okay, moving right along here. Lots of news to break down tonight. We got to talk about what's happening with Ebola. We'll talk about that. And then, of course, the Tulsi Gabbard resignation. Heartbreaking news from the Tulsi Gabbard family amidst a lot of controversy with the Central Intelligence Agency. Now we are learning they were spying on her. Absolutely insane. She's the head of national intelligence, and the intelligence she's overseeing is spying on her. And then we're going to get to what happened in New York as well. President Trump just going ballistic on the leadership there in their own backyard. So we're going to, first we're going to get to also what happened in New York and a massive policy shift in immigration policy just happened today as well. So we're going to talk about that right now. A father stood on stage with President Trump and delivered a gut-wrenching account of how his daughter Sheridan was murdered by an illegal immigrant. His words cut straight through the noise. He described holding his wife on Mother's Day, and she asked if she was still the mother of two. A single moment exposed the human cost of weak borders and sanctuary policies, specifically in Chicago. And tonight, the Trump administration answered with a sweeping new rule that changes everything for green card applicants. Non-citizens now face a very clear choice. Either follow the legal process from outside the country or stay out while applications are reviewed. This is not paperwork adjustment. This is enforcement returning to its proper place. Now, every American family deserves protection from policies that place criminals above citizens. For years, these rules let repeat offenders remain free and claim sanctuary protections, while families like the Gormans pay the ultimate price. This new requirement removes the gray area that allowed applicants to live inside the United States indefinitely during these reviews and restores the principle that legal immigration happens through proper channels, not by camping inside the country. This protects American workers, schools, and hospitals from endless backlogs. It also strengthens public safety by shrinking the window for abuse. When enforcement is clear and consistent, communities stop becoming testing grounds for failed experiments. The stakes couldn't be higher. One side sees this as cruelty. The other side sees it as basic fairness that finally puts American families first. Now, this enforcement push is part of a larger effort to secure every layer of American strength, including our critical mineral supply chain. We got some breaking news on the American critical mineral supply chain front. The SAGA metal story just got stronger. We've been covering them for weeks. In less than 48 hours ago, SAGA released new information suggesting its radar project may be sitting on one of the largest titanium vanadium systems on the entire planet. Now, write this down because SAGA trades as SAGMF in the United States and SAGA in Canada. It's right there on your screen. Now, to understand the scale, you need to compare China's Panzihua deposit, which is a state-linked system. It's valued in the multi-billion-dollar range. It's also responsible for over 40% of global vanadium production. This is huge. So check out the in-depth interview that I did with the CEO just last weekend. And these domestic resources, they directly support defense manufacturing, infrastructure, and energy independence, so America no longer relies on adversaries for materials that keep our military and economy running. There's an exclusive briefing. It's linked below. Check it out, but it's only for Next News viewers. Now back to the immigration story that affects every American household. See, the father's testimony, it's no longer just a tragedy. It's now the moral center that's driving the entire enforcement reset. President Trump placed this story front and center because voters understand the difference between abstract numbers and the real cost when these policies fail. these sanctuary city policies. The administration is using these personal accounts to show exactly why every loophole must be closed. So first we're going to get to the immigration side of the story, this new policy. They have ordered all non-citizens must leave the United States with their green card applications while they're being processed. The change is intended to ensure the applicants follow the proper legal channels without remaining in the U.S. during the review process. The Trump administration says any non-citizen in the country must leave.
There is an enormous change in U.S. immigration policy tonight. The Trump administration says any non-citizens in the country who have applied for a green card must leave the country indefinitely, even if here legally, and regardless of whether they have a spouse or children. Then they have to wait for their green card application to be processed outside of the country. We'll follow up on that.
That is a major change in green card policy, forcing applicants to leave the country while the cases are processed. The real cost of open borders shows in a father's raw testimony about his daughter Sheridan Gorman, murdered by an illegal alien in Chicago. Sheridan Gorman's father torching the Democrats on stage with President Trump. And this is his heartbreaking story.
My name is Tom Gorman. I'm not a politician. I'm not a public speaker. I'm a father of whose daughter was murdered by an illegal immigrant. I'm a husband who had to hold his wife on Mother's Day when she asked the question no mother should ever have to ask. Through tears, Jess looked at Maddie and me and asked, "Am I still the mother of two?" There's no answer big enough for that pain, no words, no comfort, no way to give back what was stolen from our family. All I could do was hold her and tell her the truth. Yes, Jess, you're still the mother of two, because Sheridan will always be our daughter. No mother should ever have to ask that question, and no father should ever have to answer it. This is what failed policies have done to our family. We did not just lose Sheridan, we lost our peace, we lost our future, we lost the life that we knew. And no family should have to become experts in immigration failures, release policies, warrants, sanctuary laws, enforcement breakdowns, because their daughter was killed by someone who should not have been here and should not be free. Let me be clear about one thing. We support legal immigration. Legal immigration has made America stronger. We all know families, neighbors, coworkers, and friends who have come and done it the right way. Followed the law, they worked hard, built businesses, raised families, and made this country better. That is America at its best. But illegal immigration is different. Criminal illegal immigration is different. Borders matter, laws matter, enforcement matters, and above all, American families matter. We are deeply grateful to President Trump and to Congressman Mike Lawler for comforting our family, saying Sheridan's name, and fighting for policies that put safety of American children and the citizens first. But I do not understand why this is a fight that belongs to only one party. Protecting our people is not politics. It is the first responsibility of government. So do not just feel sorry for us. Instead, remember Sheridan's name and stand with us. Demand that leaders who enforce our laws, secure our borders, cooperate with law enforcement, and put innocent American families first. Sheridan should have come home, and because she did not, we will spend the rest of our lives fighting so that someone else's daughter can. Parents out there, give your kids a big hug. Tell them how much you love them. Thank you very much.
Doesn't have to be like this. So this green card rule, it fits a deliberate pattern. ICE operations, denaturalization cases, birth tourism lawsuits, asylum limits, and the Save America Act all tighten the same system at once. Ambiguity once invited exploitation. Clear rules remove the incentive for mass abuse. It's not about paperwork. It's about returning immigration to a controlled legal process that respects American sovereignty and protects citizens first. The Trump administration is not managing immigration with half measures anymore. It's restructuring the entire system so that legal channels work and illegal ones do not. Families like the Gormans will never get their daughter back, but future families now have a real chance at safety. Share this report so more Americans see the full picture. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Answer this question. Do you support requiring green card applicants to process their cases from outside the United States? And make sure you join the thousands of patriots who've already texted the words raw feed to 844-840-4963. They're bypassing the algorithm suppression of the Next News Network. They're getting direct messages and alerts from me right on their phone. Make sure you check out the Next News merch shelf below this video. Celebrate America 250 with us. America is taking back control of its borders and its future, one clear rule at a time. Wow. Oh, that poor family. I don't even know where to go next. I got to publish the UFO story. That's what I've got to do now. Okay, so is that ready to go? Okay, so that one was, last one, we'll put this one out at 11:30. Okay. So, you guys have some nice plans for the Memorial Day weekend, nice long weekend ahead. Looking forward to time off with my family. And, you know, like that father said, give your kids a hug, give your kids a call. Gonna give my dad a call. He's down in Florida. Say a prayer for my father. He's on the mend right now. I just wish he would come home. Okay. Sorry, I'm getting all choked up here. Where are we going from here? Okay, we're going to the Ebola. We got to talk about the Ebola. What's going on here? This wild footage out of Congo. And some crazy things with freaking Bill Gates. These vaccines, everything happens like right. It's all like tied together. These people, they think we're stupid, like we don't see it. Okay. Oh man. Sorry guys. That family story was a little rough. Yes, I do. I wear my emotions on my sleeve, so. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Potted Kenny. All right. Oh, man. Okay. Back to broadcasting, Gary. All right. Let her rip, Brian. President Trump just slammed the door on visas for anyone who visited Ebola hot zones in the last 3 weeks. The move comes as the World Health Organization raises the alarm again on a fast-moving outbreak of the rare Bundibugyo strain. Hospitals in Congo are now under attack. Doctors are being airlifted out, and the numbers keep climbing. This is not the old playbook this time. This time, America has a leader who acts before the problem lands on our shores. See, your family's safety depends on swift borders and real leadership. When mobs torch treatment centers and communities reject medical help, the virus gains ground fast, and Trump's visa restrictions protect American citizens from exposure at the source. Past administrations left the door open. This White House is closing it tight. The outbreak is real. The strain has no vaccine, and the chaos on the ground makes containment harder. Without strong action here at home, imported cases could still reach our cities, and that is why every travel restriction, why it matters right now. And while the world watches another health scare unfold, many Americans are asking how to strengthen their own bodies against whatever comes next. Now, you've probably seen the clip of Joe Rogan sitting with Mel Gibson talking about people close to him who went through serious health struggles and then saw dramatic turnarounds. Rogan brings up light-based therapies and how they impact the body at a cellular level. Gibson says it's straight, this stuff works, and that got my attention because in my own life, I watched something very similar unfold. For a long time, my wife was dealing with constant discomfort and anxiety, one of those seasons where nothing seemed to help until we discovered red light therapy. The difference was night and day, and now I want you to experience the same breakthrough. Head to myredlight.com, use NNN25 for 25% off individual items or NNN30 for 30% off bundles. Your body deserves every advantage when threats like this are in the headlines. Now back to the Ebola situation and the steps that are being taken to keep America safe. See, this is the part the mainstream media will not emphasize. Just months before this exact strain appeared, funding started flowing to companies developing shots for it. At the same time, an NIH researcher tied to Congo work was caught with undeclared samples, biohazard samples. And the pattern looks very familiar after COVID. So we have this, the World Health Organization warning the Ebola outbreak is spreading very rapidly. So they're sounding the alarm on a rapidly spreading Ebola outbreak, but while officials scramble, President Trump and Marco Rubio just took decisive action. An American doctor who treated Ebola patients in Uganda has arrived in the Czech Republic. After being evacuated from the region, the move comes as health officials race to contain a growing Ebola outbreak tied to rare Bundibugyo strain, a variant with no approved vaccine or treatment. Another U.S. doctor infected during the outbreak was flown into Germany for care after developing symptoms while working in the Congo. The World Health Organization has declared the outbreak a global health emergency. Doctor being transported in the Czech Republic. Straight out of PT. News. So the American doctor exposed getting treatment. Trump and Rubio are not waiting around. President Trump and Rubio blocked visa issuances to foreigners who have visited South Sudan, Congo, or Uganda within the last 21 days because of Ebola, according to the Wall Street Journal. Good. Protect America. No foreigner has a right to a visa. And this was the news as it was developed. First breaking.
Concerned about Ebola? I'm concerned about everything, but certainly am. I think that, it's been confined right now to Africa, but it's something that has had a breakout. I could ask Bobby or Oz to say a couple of words about it if you'd like. Do you want to do that?
I think Heidi Overton is going to come up and give us a few words here. Dr. Overton.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Today, the CDC held a press briefing that provided a lot of the answers and information, but we have stood up a full interagency response. The Department of State, the CDC, the Department of War, everyone is fully involved in tracking. Today, we do have an announced today at the press briefing. There is an American that is symptomatic and has tested positive for, it's the Bundibugyo virus, a strain of Ebola. That American, as well as 6 other high-risk contacts, are going to be taken out of that region and taken to Germany. We want to thank our German counterparts. That is an internationally recognized location for viral hemorrhagic fever treatments. So we're very grateful that they would take them. It's a significantly shorter flight time for Americans to receive treatment there in Germany. For all other Americans, we have issued travel warnings. We have instituted just today entry restrictions for non-U.S. citizens that are.
Okay, Moving right along, here's where it gets interesting. 4 months before the outbreak, Bill Gates' vaccine enterprise CEPI gave Moderna and Oxford $26.7 million to develop a Bundy Bugyo Ebola mRNA shot. Yes, the exact same Ebola strain. This is what happens when pandemic profiteers are not held accountable.
I'm going to make this up. So CEPI, co-founded by the Gates Foundation, by the way, gave Moderna and the University of Oxford 4 months ago $26 million to develop mRNA and viral vector injections against the Bundy Bugyo strain, the same strain now in the Congo outbreak, the new outbreak. So 4 months ago, they began developing these genetic-based injections for that very strain.
So, coincidence? I think not. 4 months before the outbreak, they funneled cash to Moderna and Oxford for that new development. Meanwhile, angry crowds are storming a hospital in Congo. Check this out.
I am at the Ruwampara hospital. We are trapped inside here. Just look at this. The angry protesters gathered just outside are currently setting fire to the medical tents of the patients suffering from the sickness because they desperately want to take back the bodies of their deceased loved ones by force. There are only a few police officers who are also unable to contain the situation. We are in desperate need of a massive intervention by the FARDC.
So, regardless of the infection, the loved ones want to take their deceased back for burial, which would, of course, only exacerbate the problem. So protesters torching medical tents to seize the bodies from the Rampara Hospital. Health officials now admit roughly 250 cases have already surfaced. 250 cases are popping off. Same virus turns people into horror movie props. After COVID, we're acting like this is normal now. Pack the sanitizer, or are we scrolling past another outbreak? So, people are reverting to the same.
Health organisation says they suspect around 250 cases so far and that 80 people have died, but they've warned that they believe this outbreak is actually much larger. They've labelled this emergency at its highest international alert, and it's understood the first case was traced back to around 3 weeks ago in the Democratic Republic of Congo, but that it's now already spread to Uganda. There has been several outbreaks of Ebola in recent decades, but what's different about this one is the strain. It is very rare, which means there's no vaccines, no treatments, and also no specific tests.
Currently, I'm on panic mode because people are dying. I don't have medicines. I don't have vaccine to support countries.
So far, the World Health Organization has stopped short of calling it a pandemic, and they've also advised not to shut any borders.
So the rare strain has no vaccine or treatment and has already jumped borders. Bill Gates was just caught laughing about the next bioterror attack. Is that right?
Bill Gates consistently, he keeps going on podcasts warning there will be another pandemic, and he says this time it's going to be a bioterror attack.
So I probably put bioterror, which is a really awful.
So they're going to admit it comes from a lab this time. And yeah, here in this video next to me, this was the illicit Las Vegas basement biolab. Federal authorities raided it last week, and thankfully it doesn't appear there was anything too bad in there, just some containers, some mysterious liquids. People went in the garage and they reported feeling very sick, so I mean we really don't know what was in there, but this particular lab was linked to the Reedley Biolab in California, which was seized a few years ago, and they had Ebola, they had a freezer labeled Ebola. They had humanized mice. They had COVID-19. And so, we don't know what the main threat's going to be, but it's either from a basement biolab like this or the government-funded, government-ran, and nonprofit-ran biolabs. Mm-hmm. Both of them pose similar risks.
So Gates keeps warning of imminent bioattacks while authorities raided an illicit lab holding Ebola samples in Congo. Locals burned down the isolation tents, as you just saw. A mob torching the isolation tents in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo after relatives disputed a young man's death was from the virus. They stormed the general hospital. Here's some more footage from that. Let's see if we can get that shot here.
This hospital treating Ebola patients has been set ablaze by angry residents in the Democratic Republic of Congo. They threw projectiles toward the building, causing the fire, a local politician told CNN. Police fired warning shots and tear gas to disperse the crowd. The fire was started after health authorities refused relatives of an Ebola victim access to his body. The family members then tried to take the man's body from the hospital, quote, by force, eyewitnesses and local officials said.
They're setting fire to the tents of Ebola patients because they want to forcibly retrieve the bodies.
Luke Mambele, a local politician, says the incident shows the dangers of rising misinformation within the Ituri province, the epicenter of the current Ebola outbreak, as many people believe that Ebola is a lie. Some consider it a white man's invention. It doesn't exist. Mambele told CNN officers from the National Police Force were deployed to the scene to restore order.
So there's an international press report on those mobs torching Ebola tents. And then, of course, keeping our eye on this, the NIH virologist tied to the Congo fieldwork just got busted smuggling in pathogens. And here's the story now reaching Real America's Voice.
Maybe a possibility he could have had Ebola samples with him. What's going on with this story, Nicholas?
Yeah, this is another shocking story. So an NIH virologist, an Ebola expert, he literally goes in the Congo often. He has field sites in the Congo to catch Ebola from wild animals. And so he was caught at a U.S. airport earlier this year with undeclared biological samples, what are called select agents that appear to be, we know for sure, monkeypox, but as well, there could be other pathogens. There could be Ebola because we know he works with Ebola. He was caught at the airport. Now he's under administrative leave. The FBI is reportedly investigating him. And this man, Vincent Munster, was linked or actually was actively involved in gain-of-function activities with SARS-CoV-2, with Fauci and colleagues. So you can't even make this up.
Nope. You can't make it up. So Munster facing FBI scrutiny after smuggling select agents from the Congo outbreak zone. Former CDC Director Robert Redfield claims this could turn into a major pandemic. This is according to The Hill. I suspect this is going to become a very significant pandemic. Robert Redfield, CDC, former director there. So he's fanning the flames of fear. And right on cue, UK scientists developing new Ebola vaccine that could be ready in months, according to the BBC. And the World Health Organization on cue, the Ebola outbreak in the DRC is spreading rapidly. Previously, the World Health Organization assessed the risk as high at the national and regional levels, low at the global. We're now reversing our risk assessment to a very high at the national, high at the regional, and low at the global. So far, 82 cases have been confirmed in DRC, 7 confirmed deaths. We know the epidemic in DRC is much larger. There are now almost 750 suspected cases, 177 suspected deaths. The situation in Uganda is stable. 2 cases confirmed in people who traveled from DRC with 1 death. The measures taken in Uganda, including intense contact tracing and canceling the Martyrs' Day commemoration, appear to have been effective in preventing the further spread of the virus. The American national who was working in DRC has also been confirmed positive, transferred to Germany for care, as we've reported. Also, we have reports about the other American national has taken to the Czech Republic. The government of DRC and Uganda are leading the response with support from World Health Organization and partners. In addition to our national staff in DRC, so far we've deployed 22 international staff to the field, including some of our most experienced people. We have released $3.9 million from the Contingency Fund for Emergencies. We're in touch with UN Humanitarian Chief Tom Fletcher and thank him for allocating $60 million to the response. On the ground, we're supporting national authorities with every pillar of the response, including contact tracing, establishing treatment centers, risk communication, community engagement, and more. Together with the Africa CDC, World Health is also establishing continental incident management support. In the coming days, we'll publish a multi-agency strategic preparedness response plan aligned with the national plans of both DRC and Uganda with our partners. As you know, with many previous Ebola outbreaks which are caused by Zaire virus, this outbreak is caused by the Bundibugyo virus, which there is no approved vaccine or therapeutic. There have only been 2 previous outbreaks of this strain in Uganda in 2007 and 2012. Yesterday, World Health convened the leaders of several partner organizations under the Interim Medical Countermeasures Network to review the pipeline of vaccines, therapeutics, and diagnostics. The World Health R&D Blueprint also convened its technical advisory group on therapeutics and recommended prioritize 2 monoclonal antibodies to advance in clinical trials. In addition, the advisory group recommended the evaluation of antiviral Abdelsavar in clinical trial as post-exposure prophylaxis for people who are high risk. The clinical trial being developed jointly with Africa CDC and Collaborative Open Research Consortium on filoviruses. So the World Health Organization posting all of this, and back to Nicholas Hulsher, says this will not become a pandemic.
There have been 40 Ebola outbreaks across Africa since the 1970s. 40 of them, not a single one has ever become a pandemic. Not a single one, because it doesn't spread efficiently. In fact, it's not airborne. It's not like COVID. It spreads through direct physical contact with infected bodily fluids from a symptomatic person. So this is extraordinarily difficult to spread in the Western world. Perhaps in the Congo, if they're in confined spaces, it's not very cleanly, then yeah, it'll be easier to spread. But this is most definitively not going to become a pandemic based on how Ebola operates.
So what he's saying is directly in contradiction to what the CDC, the former CDC director, says is suspected to become a very significant pandemic. So who do you believe? My money's on the independent journalists and researchers and not the institutions. The institutions don't have a good track record of telling the truth. So President Trump's visa ban, though, it's already in place, working to shield the homeland. The new outbreak is dangerous locally, but never become a global pandemic in 40 prior events because it does require direct contact with fluids. Strong borders plus honest skepticism towards prepositioned funding keep the real risk contained. America First means we do not wait for another crisis to hit our streets. So the lesson is clear. When leadership acts early, America stays safer. So share this report so more people see the contrast between open border hesitation and decisive action, and drop a yes or no in the comments. Do you support the visa restrictions to protect our country? And make sure you are with the thousands of patriots who've already texted the words raw feed to 844-840-4963. They're getting the direct updates. They're bypassing the algorithm. I want you to bypass it too. Get the updates from me right to your phone. And check out the Next News merch shelf below this video for gear that shows where you stand with America 250. We stay vigilant because protecting American families is not optional. Okay, so we just rocked out that one. Let's push this next story. What have we got? What's hitting the feed right now? I think we've got to put some of these carryovers till tomorrow. Let's just see here. Trump pushes back. White House. Okay, that's gonna. What the hell? Why did that say the 23rd? Dude, that's not what I said. This is now, it's already late. Lovely. Okay, so now we got to push this back to 11:45. Okay. Oh, okay, so where are we at now? I've lost my place. So we've got the father story. I know, but I got to figure out what's getting published. So the father story, Ebola story, Gabbard. Okay, so I think what we'll do is we will push these into tomorrow, the 23rd. We'll start that at noon. And then this Ebola story, we'll push that at, okay. Angie's texting me. Trump bans Ebola. Okay, so we're going to push that to 23rd. We'll push that at 2 p.m. And then this Gabbard story will go to 4 o'clock, I guess. Okay. And then this last one will be at 6 tomorrow. Okay, let's talk about what's going on with Tulsi Gabbard. And as always, guys, if you want to see these stories, you're watching them now, but they will be published to X before they drop on YouTube. Okay. Let's go. This breaking news, the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, just dropped a bombshell resignation effective June 30th. The timing could not be more explosive. She's stepping down to care for her husband after his aggressive bone cancer diagnosis. So our prayers are with Tulsi Gabbard and her husband and her family right now. But the sources close to the story reveal that she plans to drop some multiple high-profile investigation results before she walks out the door. This comes as fresh allegations surface that elements inside the CIA were actively spying on her own team. The stakes extend far beyond any one person's departure. So is this the moment that the intelligence community turns on itself in full public view? That's the question. You see, the Director of National Intelligence oversees every major agency that's protecting American security. When that office faces internal surveillance and obstruction during probes into Havana syndrome, COVID origins, the 2020 election, and assassinations, the entire republic feels the impact. Millions of citizens have watched unelected officials operate without accountability for years. Now, senators, whistleblowers are confirming that Gabbard's Directors Initiatives Group face keystroke monitoring and blocked access to critical files. This is not abstract bureaucracy. It is a direct challenge to elected leadership and the voters who chose a different direction. The American people deserve to know whether their intelligence apparatus protects the nation or protects itself. So before we dive deeper into these national security developments, we got some breaking news just emerging on America's critical minerals supply chain. Now, the SAGA metal story, it just got even stronger. We've been talking about this for several weeks now. Less than 48 hours ago, SAGA released new information. Brian, if you could adjust that real quick, please. Less than 48 hours ago, SAGA released new information suggesting its radar project. You know, I'm just going to start over, dude. Way to go, dude. I don't have time for this. Go. Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard dropping a bombshell resignation effective July 30th, and the timing could not be more explosive. She's stepping down to care for her husband after his aggressive bone cancer diagnosis, so our prayers are with Tulsi Gabbard and her family right now. But sources close to the story reveal that she plans to drop multiple high-profile investigative results before she walks out the door. Now, this comes as fresh allegations surface that elements inside the CIA were actively fucking A, man. Now you got me all. Start. Some breaking news now. The Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. What the son of a bitch. Just get it right. We don't have these problems. Some big breaking news now. The Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, just dropped a bombshell resignation effective June 30th, and the timing could not be more explosive. She's stepping down to care for her husband after his aggressive bone cancer diagnosis, so our prayers are with Tulsi Gabbard and her family in this critical time. But sources close to the story reveal that she plans to drop multiple high-profile investigation results before she walks out the door. Now, this comes as fresh allegations surface that elements inside the CIA were actively spying on her own team, and the stakes extend far beyond one person's departure. Is this the moment that the intelligence community turns on itself in full public view? That's the question. You see, the Director of National Intelligence oversees every major agency protecting national security. When that office faces internal surveillance and obstruction during probes into Havana syndrome, COVID origins, the 2020 election, and even assassinations, the entire republic feels the impact. Millions of citizens have watched unelected officials operate without accountability for years. And now senators and whistleblowers are confirming that Gabbard's Directors Initiative Group face keystroke monitoring and blocked access to critical files. This is not abstract bureaucracy. It is a direct challenge to elected leadership and the voters who chose a different direction. The American people deserve to know whether their intelligence apparatus protects the nation or protects itself. Now, before we dive deeper into these national security developments, breaking news just emerged on America's critical minerals supply chain. The SAGA metal story that we have been covering here for weeks has just got stronger. In less than 48 hours ago, SAGA released new information suggesting that its radar project may be sitting on one of the largest titanium vanadium systems on the entire planet. Now, SAGA trades as SAGMF. Write that down. It's on your screen. SAGMF in the United States and SAGA in Canada. Now, to understand the scale, you need to compare radar project of SAGA to China's Panzinhua deposit. The state-linked system is valued in the multi-billion-dollar range. It's also responsible for over 40% of global vanadium output. Make sure you check out the in-depth interview with the CEO on this topic that I did just last weekend. This breakthrough strengthens domestic supply chains that are vital for defense and technology. Also check the exclusive briefing. It is linked below, but it's only for Next News viewers. Now back to the unfolding intelligence battle inside our own government. While the personal reasons for Tulsi Gabbard's exit command respect, new reporting shows she intends to release explosive findings on weaponization, the 2020 election, and even more before June 30th. At the same time, Senator Rand Paul highlighting how the CIA appears to have targeted her investigators. This combination changes the entire narrative around her departure. So this is the news as it was breaking. She reveals her husband's been diagnosed with bone cancer, and she is resigning to be by his side. Of course, we are all praying for Tulsi Gabbard and her husband at this time. Here's the news as it broke.
On to this breaking news now. Fox News has just learned Tulsi Gabbard is resigning from her post as Director of National Intelligence. All right, let's get right to David Spont. He's got the news for us. David?
Well, Sandra, we are told that Tulsi Gabbard is resigning effective June 30th because of her husband's recent diagnosis of an aggressive form of bone cancer. Our thoughts, of course, are with Ms. Gabbard and her family, Director Gabbard and her husband, Abraham. She said that Abraham has been her rock since they've been married, and she submitted her resignation letter to the president and two members of the senior staff, announcing that her last day would be June 30th because of this diagnosis of her husband's bone cancer. Unfortunately, this is something that Gabbard says that she cannot continue to manage doing two jobs at that time. So she will continue serving in the role of the Director of National Intelligence, overseeing the CIA, National Security Council, other agencies, but will leave June 30th because of this tragic news of her husband's bone cancer diagnosis. Sandra and John, as she helps him fight that over the coming months.
Now, what is interesting about the timing of this is that we do know that several weeks ago there were rumblings that Trump was going to fire her. Now, I'm not saying that her story is a cover story. I would never accuse her of that, but I think that it is curious that we heard rumblings of her departure several weeks back, and now this is coming to light. So she's stepping down June 30th to care for her husband. President Trump posting this to Truth Social. He had this to say, unfortunately, after having done a great job, Tulsi Gabbard will be leaving the administration on June 30th. Her wonderful husband, Abraham, has been recently diagnosed with a rare form of bone cancer, and she rightfully wants to be with him, bringing him back to good health as they currently fight a tough battle together. I have no doubt he will soon be better than ever. Tulsi has done an incredible job, and we will miss her. Her highly respected Principal Deputy Director of National Intelligence, Aaron Lucas, will serve as Acting Director of National Intelligence, President Donald J. Trump. So the official announcement here is the letter that she did post. We'll see if we can bring it up a little bit closer for you. She says she's grateful for the trust that she's been entrusted with and the opportunity to lead the nation. In the office, unfortunately, she has to submit her resignation because of her husband diagnosed with extremely rare form of bone cancer. So she is talking about the progress that she's made, advancing unprecedented transparency, restoring integrity to the intelligence community. There's still important work to be done. So she will ensure a smooth transition in the interim. So while supporters praise her record, Adam Schiff is already attacking her departure. He says, my thoughts go out to Tulsi Gabbard and her family as her husband battles this serious health problem. I hope and pray he makes a full and speedy recovery. While the circumstances around her departure are deserving of our sympathy, let's be clear, Tulsi Gabbard's only positive contribution to our nation's national security is her resignation. Disgusting. She politicized intelligence. That's rich coming from Adam Schiff. She dismantled critical agencies keeping America safe. Okay, coming from the same party who defunded DHS, right? She weaponized the ISC to pursue baseless election fraud claims. Unbelievable projection here. Unbelievable projection from Adam Schiff. We must ensure that her tenure, marked by a devotion to the person of the president and not the security of the country, represents a terrible exception at DNI and not the new normal. Unbelievable. Disgusting. So we're finding out from Mary Margaret Olahan that Tulsi plans to release findings of a number of high-profile investigations before she departs, including Havana Syndrome, COVID weaponization, 2020 election, and more. Rand Paul, reacting to Catherine Herridge's reporting and the CIA whistleblower testimony, the CIA appears to be illegally spying on Gabbard's team, interfering with investigations on COVID cover-up, JFK, MLK, RFK assassinations, UAPs, etc. We've got to get to the bottom of what they are hiding. So Catherine Herridge detailed in a very lengthy article here on X. She says, based on my reporting, it was well known in national security circles that CIA investigative unit had sent emails to several members of DNI initiative group demanding they come in for questioning. While the CIA unit routinely conducts polygraphs and investigations, the timing of the request was concerning. It did not appear to be part of standard security clearance. The alleged CIA monitoring of the Directors Initiatives Group was described as tracking every keystroke in their government computers and devices. While there's no expectation of privacy on government computers and users obviously a logon warning, it did not appear to be routine counterintelligence work by the CIA. In recent testimony before the Senate Homeland Security Government Affairs Committee, chaired by Senator Rand Paul, CIA Senior Operations Officer whistleblower James Erdman III alleged the CIA illegally spied on the computers and phones of the Directors Initiatives Group, along with her investigations and contacts with whistleblowers. DIJ investigations did investigate JFK, RFK, MLK assassination, origins of COVID, Crossfire Hurricane, Biden administration's domestic surveillance, anomalous health incidents, AHI, and unidentified aerial phenomena. Erdman provided detailed testimony about the DIG's investigation in directed energy attacks, also known as Savannah Syndrome or anomalous health incidents. So this is not the first time the CIA appears to have been monitoring DIG communications. Individuals involved in our AHI investigation discovered third parties were listening in on secure phone calls at intelligence community facilities, in one instance during conversation with a whistleblower. So clearly we're learning now that there was monitoring of her office. Senator Rand Paul. So the intel community is spying on itself. This is how perverse the government really is. I mean, that says it in a nutshell. And here we have Svetlana Lakava. Tulsi Gabbard rightly called the plot against President Trump a treasonous conspiracy. That's because Obama and Brennan used a foreign country, England, to launch their conspiracy against President Trump. Let's not forget what Tulsi Gabbard has already revealed.
Something you actually told me, Lara, and I never thought about that way, is that Tulsi Gabbard specifically called it treasonous conspiracy. And, you know, the word treason gets like thrown around quite a lot. So people sort of used to saying that. What does that actually mean? And you that explained to me that involves foreigners.
Correct.
So sedition is when you conspire, a bunch of people conspire, right, to overthrow the government.
Citizen.
But
yes.
treason is when also those Americans conspire with people outside America, outside the United States. And that's where, you know, once we go later through the documents, that's where it becomes very interesting, because John Brennan, the CIA director, and other people involved, which we'll come back to, Peter Strzok and others, they all work with the United Kingdom, with British intelligence, and also Australians and other countries. Yes. And that's why Tulsi is very specific when she says, Director Gabbard so specific when she says there was a treasonous conspiracy, because not only they were overthrowing the government, but they were doing it with help of foreigners, other countries.
Exactly. Yep, that's exactly what happened.
So Tulsi Gabbard, clearly a threat to the deep state. Now, of course, she's stepping down. She will be gone from her office on the 30th. But Svetlana Lakova makes it a point that both Obama and Brennan flew to London the moment the grand jury in Florida was announced. That's because they launched Russiagate from London, England. Gina Haspel was a CIA station chief in London. British operative Christopher Steele and CIA operative Stephen Halper operated out of London, and Peter Strzok also traveling to London. So the treasonous conspiracy, one of the main elements of Tulsi Gabbard's tenure as DNI, exposing that. So the core allegation is extraordinary. Gabbard's team facing internal surveillance while probing the most sensitive files in modern intelligence history. If whistleblowers are correct, compartmented information was withheld and investigations obstructed. This leaves one overriding question: who actually holds oversight when parts of the intelligence community monitor themselves and elected officials? That reality now sits in plain sight for every American to confront. Tulsi Gabbard's resignation marks not an ending, but the public explosion of a long-simmering fight over who really controls America's intelligence tools. Her planned releases could still deliver critical transparency before she departs. And the contrast between her service and attacks from figures like Adam Schiff show exactly why voters demanded change. So share this report with everybody who needs to see the full picture and drop your answer in the comments to this yes or no question. Do you believe the intelligence community requires major reform? And if you haven't done so, make sure you join the thousands of patriots who've already texted that number on the screen, 844-840-4963, to bypass the algorithm suppression of our work and get direct updates from me right to your phone. And check out the Next News merch shelf. Celebrate America 250 with us. The fight for accountability, it belongs to every citizen who refuses to accept secret power structures. Okay, now we're moving into New York. Okay, you guys having a nice evening so far? I hope you are enjoying the live show. It's getting late here in the Chicagoland area. Getting ready for a nice long weekend. Yeah, bone cancer isn't nice. It's not nice at all. I know when the cancer, my mother had cancer, and when it spread to her bones, it was horrible. Just horrible. Okay. What was that? I wasn't completely tuned in. Did I hear you say YouTube demonetized? I'm not sure what you're talking about. Okay. Oh, why didn't that video show up in this? The first video didn't. Huh. Okay. Weird. For some reason that video did not attach, Brian. That first tweet. Okay. Let's go. SAGA medals. President Trump touching down in New York, and the crowd's massive. He wasn't there to play nice with the people destroying the state. Instead, taking direct aim at Governor Hochul and the socialist mayor, turning New York into a cautionary tale of failure. From taxpayer flight to stories of stores locking up toothpaste, the evidence is everywhere. And one line from the speech summed up the crisis perfectly, and it's hitting Democrats pretty hard. They're reacting. See, New York is showing exactly what happens when progressive policies run unchecked. Taxpayers who fund 90% of the state budget are leaving for good, and they're not coming back. Crime has become so normal that retailers now guard basic items behind glass while shoplifters fill duffel bags in plain sight. Illegals are flooding in and receiving benefits while citizens pay the price. And elections without voter ID or proof of citizenship are wide open to fraud. It's not just one state's problem. It's the national warning of what the entire country faces if the same governance model spreads. And Trump is forcing the contrast right out into the open. But America's strength also depends on securing our own critical minerals right here at home. This breaking news on America's critical mineral supply chain front. The SAGA metal story that we've been covering just got a whole lot stronger. Less than 48 hours ago, SAGA released new information suggesting its radar project may be sitting on one of the largest titanium and vanadium systems on the entire planet. Now, SAGA, write this down, they trade, it's on your screen, trades as SAGMF in the U.S. and SAGA in Canada. Now, to understand the scale, you got to compare radar to China's Panzhua deposit. That's a state-linked system. It's valued in the multi-billion-dollar range. It's also responsible for 40% of the global vanadium worldwide. So check out the in-depth interview with the CEO on this topic that I did just last weekend, and check the exclusive briefing that's linked below, but it's only for Next News viewers. That kind of domestic resource independence is exactly what Trump keeps fighting for. So while the minerals story strengthens our future, the political battle in New York is already exploding. Hochul just answered Trump directly, and the gloves are off. The contrast could not be clearer between a president who stops his motorcade to wave at supporters and leaders who chase away people who are actually paying the bills. And what's really funny here is that socialist mayor in New York City, Clown World, posted this, that he decided to launch his very first Twitch stream. And there were no moderators. The internet immediately took over, and let's just say the chat and the drawings were not exactly what City Hall had in mind. So, yeah, small children in the room, I would encourage you to maybe cover their eyes, because this is rather hilarious. In fact, you can see some of the visualizations that were coming across the feed as in the chat room on the side of the screen there, completely taken over, no moderators, as Zoran Mandami tried to connect with the Twitchers. But he's getting all kinds of images and artwork that not really safe for work. So enough of that. But I had to play because it just thought it was, he totally got owned on his own stream. And while New York socialist mayor struggles to keep control of his own stream, President Trump has landed in the state, heading to a packed room of patriots. Here's the president as he was departing Air Force One, heading to the location to deliver his speech. Now, this was, of course, yesterday. President Trump touching down and directing the motorcade to pull right up and personally greet every supporter outside. This is when the president arrived at the event. Beautiful President Trump there in the Beast, rolling past, waving at everybody, thumbs up. President ready to go in, waving to the crowd. Trump shifting. After waving to the crowd, Trump shifted to the everyday chaos New Yorkers face, with pharmacies locking up toothpaste because of nonstop theft, railing against the fact that New Yorkers are forced to have workers unlock toothpaste at stores because crime is so rampant.
The whole thing, we got to change it. Now, the way you stop that, you know how you stop that? You come down hard on those people. Hard. In one day, you'd solve that problem all over the country. You just come down so hard that they never forget it, and they'll never do it again. They'll never do it again. It's horrible. What's happening is horrible. And it's all in the blue cities, you know, it's all blue. The 25 worst cities are blue. Blue means Democrat. But, you know, I looked at a story, I read a story.
What happened there? Did that whole clip? I don't think the whole clip played.
But, you know, I looked at a story, I read a story yesterday where the pharmacies, they're going out of business. They have glass all over the place. You want toothpaste. You have to open up, you have to get a clerk to open up the thing, and they open and they hand them a toothpaste. And in the meantime, other people are waiting to steal it. They got a guy, they were saying a guy right here, Mr. Lutnick said, Mr. Lutnick, he's a rich guy, but he was in a store, and he noticed when he was in a drugstore, the people were with duffel bags. They're putting crap in a duffel bag and walking. And the clerk says, you're not supposed to be doing that. And the kid said, the hell with you, walks out. And if the clerk does anything at all, they arrest the clerk. How screwed up is our country? How the hell do you make your money if you got to open up glass, expensive glass, to give somebody a toothbrush or to give somebody some toothpaste? That does not sound like a good business model. So you have empty stores. The whole thing, we got to change it. Now, the way you stop that, you know how you stop that? You come down hard on those people. Hard.
So President Trump laying out how crime is gutting stores. Now he's exposing the bigger picture of rigged elections and illegal aliens flooding the state, spitting fire against how Democrats are ruining the state, and the crowd is all in.
The illegal aliens are all over the place. The people are getting shot left and right. The elections are rigged. They don't have voter ID. They don't have proof of citizenship. Think of it. We want to get the Save America Act passed now. Think of the Save America Act. It's voter ID. Who's against voter ID? You ever see the Democrat National Convention? I call it the Democrat. They're Democrat. But you ever see it? They have cards on them for the Democrat National Convention, cards like bigger than your chest. Name, address, everything you want to know about a person. They might even have a social security number on it. That's to get into their convention. But for voting, you're allowed to go in, right? It's horrible. So it's voter ID, it's proof, a little thing called proof of citizenship, and it's mail-in voting is a disaster. If you have military, if you're going to be away, if you're not feeling well, if you're in any way disabled, absolutely we have it. We'll be very generous, but generally you got to go and vote. Otherwise, it's a rigged system. And that, in a nutshell, is the Save America Act. Not very complicated. Think of it, voter ID. Think of it, voter ID, proof of citizenship, and mail-in ballots are gone except if you need it. Now, I added 2 best ofs. No men playing in women's sports. Has nothing to do with it. No men.
I can get behind that for sure. But Trump making clear the elections are rigged, pushing the Save America Act. Now he's calling out Hochul and Mandami for driving taxpayers out while handing money to illegals. Any day now.
Great, Mike. It's terrible things are happening. However, we have to take the good with the bad. Companies are leaving. Rich people are leaving. People that pay a lot of money. All these rich companies, big, fat, beautiful companies, they have jobs and they have money and they're leaving and nobody's stopping them from leaving. New York can never, if we don't stop this, and I'm for you, and I'm helping you in Washington much more than I'm supposed to be helping you, believe me, New York can never be the same if it's losing its tax base, and the people that pay 85% of the taxes are leaving. And we're taking in illegal immigrants. Oh, they're wonderful people and all, but they're not paying any tax. They're taking your money. Ay, ay, ay. They're taking your money. The people that pay 85 to 90% of your taxes are leaving. And you know, when they go, they never come back. They never come back. Nobody calls them. Nobody does anything. Nobody talks to them. Nobody says, please don't leave. We'll give you a tax rebate. We'll do anything. Don't leave. But they're leaving. They're going to Florida. They're going to Tennessee. They're going to Texas. They're going to South Carolina, North Carolina. They're going all over the place, but they're leaving, and we can't let it happen. It's a great place. We can't. Bruce will stop it. Mike will stop it. They're all going to stop it. They'll bring them back. On top of that, the streets are dirty. The crime is out of control.
Streets are dirty. Crime is out of control. Trump exposing Hochul's policies are bleeding in New York, and she shot back. She won't be intimidated by him or any MAGA supporter. I won't be intimidated by Trump or any spineless MAGA coward like my opponent, Bruce Blakeman. While they're busy screwing over New Yorkers, I'm fighting like hell to lower costs and protect New Yorkers from his attacks. Game on. Okay.
No Republican wins in Nassau, and he ran and he won, and you better watch yourself. You better watch yourself, Kathy. You got a race.
You better watch yourself. So Trump just declared open war on New York's failing leadership. He exposed how Democrats are driving out the very taxpayers who keep the state solvent while flooding the system with people who pay nothing and take everything. The locked toothpaste and duffel bag thefts are now national symbols of collapse. Hochul's angry response only proves the pressure is working. New York has become the frontline test of whether progressive urban rule can survive once real accountability actually arrives. So the bottom line is very simple. Trump is delivering the same message from coast to coast. Fix the border, secure the vote, stop the theft, and bring the tax base back or watch your state fall apart. New York is the example everybody needs to see. So if you agree that America First policies are the only way forward, hit that like button, drop a yes in the comments right now, and text raw feed to 844-840-4963 to bypass the algorithm and get every update straight to your phone. And check out the Next News merch shelf below this video. Celebrate America 250 with the Next News Network. We're winning because we refuse to stay silent. Stay strong, stay informed, and keep fighting for the America that we love. Okay, so folks, that is the wrap for tonight. Brian, I think you need a couple minutes for that feed to keep rolling on in. Okay, sounds good. Okay, so checking in with the chat room. You got your notifications all fixed up, Jeremy. That's good. Glad to see that. I got another interview dropping this weekend with Jonathan Otto. You may know him. You may have seen some of the interviews I've done with him. The interview ran for about 90 minutes today. And we covered a lot of ground. We covered what's going on with the ticks, these boxes of ticks that are coming down. We talked about the hantavirus, and of course the Simpsons predictive programming. We even got deep into the spiritual aspect of, how viruses and how they are connected to going all the way back to creation and the original sin, and how they introduced death. It's just it was a remarkable interview. We talked about Mel Gibson's new film that just wrapped up shooting. It's the sequel to The Passion of the Christ. We talked about that and what's going on in that film. Talked about some other things. I think you guys will really enjoy this interview, so keep your eyes open for it this weekend. It'll drop Sunday morning. And he actually talked about some pretty wild stuff that he's never talked about on our channel before, and really blew my mind. And I think it's going to catch everybody off guard with some of the topics he went into. But I think you guys will enjoy it. So that's going to drop Sunday. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful and long, restful Memorial Day weekend. Remember to give your loved ones a hug, give your kids a call, give your parents a call. And tell them that you love them, because we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for their love and our own Father in heaven, his love, keeping us safe and in his glory every single day. And I thank him for that. So have a good night. We'll see you.